Hello everyone and welcome to my 1 to 2 week postpartum update. I am going to tell you a little bit about Tucker here first, and then I'm gonna go over what has been going on with me in the first 2 weeks of postpartum. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I know. First of all, I would like you to meet Tucker. Tucker, say hi to everybody. That's his I'm hungry noise, so I might just be feeding him during this entire video. But I just fed you. Okay, yep, he's hungry. So this is Tucker Wade Reinhardt. He was born September 17th, 2018 at 10:45 a.m. He was sunny side up. You can watch my birth vlog. I will also do a birth story to talk a little bit more in depth about everything that happened during his birth. He's so wide-eyed right now. He's having so much more awake time in this second week of life, that is for sure. And he's got big, big eyes. He looks absolutely nothing like our first child did when he was born, but I think it's because their nose is different. Yeah. And their hair is a little bit different. That's really why they don't look very much alike, but there are similarities, certainly. They are definitely brothers, for sure. So, let me tell you a little bit about Tucker. Okay, I just got him latched, and my neighbors just started doing some kind of, like, crazy yard work, so I apologize if you can hear that in the background. I've tried to film this video several times, so I'm just gonna forge ahead. Sorry if it's annoying in the background. So, Tucker was born at 10:45 a.m. on Monday, September 17th. He was born 7 pounds, 1.4 ounces, and he was 19 inches long. We decided on the name Tucker. It was one of the names that was on our list for Weston. It never really made it into like the top 5 names. It crept in this time. I think Matt and I both brought it back up. Like, what about Tucker? What do you think about Tucker? And it was that and one other name, which I'm not going to say because we are going to save for another baby if that baby is a girl. So, yes, so Tucker kind of crept back in, and Matt really wanted this other middle name, which goes along with the other name, so I'm not gonna say that either. But he really wanted this other middle name, and I didn't think that it matched nicely with Tucker. No, it didn't go. So we kind of thought like, okay, you know, we're not really agreeing 100% on this name. Let's just kind of keep Tucker in the back of our heads, but it'll probably be this other name. Well, Matt was out of town and he came back from St. Thomas, and when he was on his flight back, he was watching a country western movie. I think 3:10 to Yuma or something like that. It's like an old classic western. And there was a character, or maybe it's an actor, named Ben Wade. And Matt was like, oh, Ben Wade, what a cool name. Like, that's such a sweet name. But we have a lot of Bens in our lives, and Ben was not really an option as a name, but he thought Wade might go nicely with Tucker. So, hence the name Tucker Wade. Matt said the name to me and I was like, yes, I love it. I think I'm 100% that's him, but we still had to see him. Yes, we still had to see him to know that that was his name. And as soon as I saw you, I thought, oh, that's our little Tucker Wade. Yeah, oh, you're just listening to Mama. You're so sweet. He has the most beautiful bright blue eyes. Matt has very nice blue eyes, and so does Weston. I have bluish green eyes, but I'm so glad. I think that his eyes are gonna be quite light. I think they both got daddy's eyes. For Tucker, during the first 2 weeks, he came out, he latched straight away. And for the first 72 hours of his life, he cluster fed the entire time. It was painful. I will get into that later. but my milk just was not coming in. So while we were at the hospital, he lost 8.5% of his body weight. And they don't really get concerned until it's 10%, but we were getting closer and closer to that 10% mark. So they were kind of keeping an eye on him. And at his first doctor's appointment, he reached that 10%. And my doctor said, you know, I'm not too concerned. Your milk seems like it's coming in. Like that day it was coming in. And so we said, let's just do a weight check over the weekend. And at the weight check, he started going up. And now at 2 weeks, he is above his birth weight. So we are on the right. Like I said, he cluster fed for the first 72 hours. So not very many people got to hold him for very long. And he still is a cluster feeding maniac. He will, nurse on one side, nurse the other side, feel like he is good to go, and then all of a sudden, like a half hour goes by and he's like, nope, let's go again. Right? Yeah. Oh, what a yawn. Yeah. Tucker is pretty happy. He's a pretty content little guy as long as his belly is full and he doesn't have gas. He's kind of gassy right now. And I do remember this from Weston, that they don't really have control of their muscles straight away to let out gas and all that. So he grunts like an old man. He goes, because he's trying to force the air out. I will help him and assist him, but I do know also that like they do have to learn those muscles. And so I've read conflicting things, like you can definitely help them, assist and get the gas out by, you know, doing bicycle legs and that kind of thing. But it might take them a little bit longer to learn how to get the gas out on their own. So if he's really having trouble, I will help him, but otherwise I just let him grunt it out for right now. And he's not crying, he's not, you know, it doesn't seem like he's in pain. He's just grunting to get it out, and it's kind of funny. He sounds like an old man. Pretty consistent with what I would say a newborn typically waking every 2 to 3 hours to eat. And I think that it's fantastic because with Weston, I had to wake him up every 2 to 3 hours. I was waking him every 2 hours because he lost so much weight at the beginning. So I was waking him every 2 hours to feed him, which really only gave me like 45 minutes of sleep in between. But Tucker wakes on his own. I feed him in our bed and, you know, maybe change a diaper in between, feed him on the other side, and off to bed he goes again. We are up for like a full hour usually at night because he'll fall asleep while he's nursing and I'll wake him back up. But he usually does wake back up and then nurses on the other side. So we've been really lucky, and I think that he seems pretty laid back like his brother. But we will see. It's only the first 2 weeks of his life. As far as postpartum for me, for the most part, these first 2 weeks have been okay. I'm gonna be real though and break it down for you day by day, because the first 5 days were kind of intense and crazy. So day one, I was keeping notes kind of as we went. So day one, I felt so good. Those hormones, they kick in and they are like all those love hormones, that oxytocin, right? I felt great. I was walking around, I was playing with Wes. He came to visit at the hospital. You saw that in the vlog of Meet My Brother. I felt so good and I was like, wow, this recovery is gonna be great. I feel so much better than I did when I gave birth to Wes. Then day two rolled around and I felt like I was hit by a truck, a train, and a bus. I was so tender. I was so sore. Everything down there. I needed ice, ice, ice all the time. I was using Tux pads all the time. I did have a grade 2 tear. I think they call it a grade 2 tear. It's exactly the tear that I had with Weston. They said it probably was right over the scar tissue of Wes, where I tore when I gave birth to Weston. So they said, oh, this should be, this should heal pretty quickly. Well, day 2, it felt like it was going to be terrible forever. I also, like, my muscles, my joints, I hurt so bad. And the doctor said that it's because I was probably using muscles that I've not used in a very long time. And like my arms hurt from holding my legs and pushing, and I shouldn't have been pulling back like I was. My entire body was sore. Day 2 was rough. And I just hung out in my jammies. We had a very relaxing day. We had a couple of visitors, but I was really like in bed almost the entire time. Maybe I should have been walking around, I'm not sure. Then that night, I mean, Tucker was cluster feeding that entire day anyway, but into that night, it was bad. And so on day 3, I woke up a crying disaster because my nipples were so cracked. They were bleeding, they were blistered. It was really bad. And the nurses were amazing. They helped me. They brought in a lactation consultant, and that saved me. That lactation consultant saved my boobs. And she helped so far for Tucker and I to be successful at breastfeeding. This is just so far. We are just gonna take it day by day, because I'm telling you, that 3rd day, I was ready to give up. I was just done. I was in so much pain. So the lactation consultant came in after I had cried to the nurse, like all of my hormones were rushing. I was in pain because my body was sore. Now my nipples were like on fire. It hurt every time he latched, and it hurt through the entire feed. And that was probably because we were latched incorrectly. But also there was already blistering there, and so it just hurt. What the lactation consultant suggested was for me to try laid back breastfeeding. And laid back breastfeeding is basically where you recline way back, you put the baby here, and you have them latch, you know, this side or this side. That helped me so much. I will leave a link down below to like the Kelly Mom website. I think they talk about laid back breastfeeding there, but I'll find some information about laid back breastfeeding and link it down below, because that position helped me immensely. I cannot thank that lactation consultant enough for saving me, for saving him. Yeah. So not only did she suggest the laid back breastfeeding, but she also suggested that I use this antibiotic ointment just at the beginning to help with the cracking and the bleeding. So I used a little bit of that and the lanolin. Is it lanolin cream? I used a couple of different brands of that. But my nipples needed to heal, and they were in really rough shape. So it didn't take very long, actually, maybe 2 days, and things were healed up and we were successful. And the pain that I felt when he latched was going away over time because we were getting a better latch and things were healing. So, oh, thank goodness. And my milk came in. I think that helped a lot too. Just that it was there, and then he was getting food, and I was able to get a few breaks throughout the day where he wasn't attached to me constantly. I know. Look at this little bald spot right here. So silly. Day 4. I went to the ER. Was it day 4 or 5? I don't even remember. I ended up going to the ER because I felt some chest pain. I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt chest pain. And when you're in recovery at the hospital, they're always asking you those questions, the doctors, right? Like, do you feel chest pain? Do you have a headache? Do your calves hurt? So the answer was always no. And when we got home, I had some crazy chest pain. And I just thought, like, okay, what's the reason that they kept asking me this in the hospital? And when I looked it up, pulmonary embolism popped up. And I was like, that's really scary. So the idea that a blood clot could be creeping up into my lungs scared me. So I called my doctor that morning and I talked to the nurse, and they suggested that I just go into the ER. So I went and we did all of the tests and EKGs and all of the things that you need to do. And at the end of the day, I am fine. I'm clear. They did a CT scan. There is no blood clot. So that is good. It was pretty scary, and we spent all day in the ER, Matt, Tucker, and I. Thank goodness we were swept right back into a private room so that we did not hang out in the lobby, because who brings a newborn to the ER? Like, nobody should do that, right? So it was so important for us though, because that was the day my milk was coming in, and I knew that we had to be together. I didn't have a store of milk for him, could have given him formula, but I just thought, you know what, we're bringing him with us. And I think we made the right call. We've been healthy. It's been over a week since, and nobody's sick or anything. So we are good. Really, the postpartum stuff is, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted, but I'm healing up nicely now. I feel so much better now. I take a sitz bath like at least once a day. I know I should probably do it more. The bleeding has consistently gone down. It's less and less every single day. I am to the point now where I could probably just wear a panty liner, but I do wear a regular pad just in case, because the day I thought I could wear a panty liner, I put it on and like a gush came out. Sorry, TMI. You're watching a postpartum update. I know with Weston, I bled for at least 6 weeks, like almost the entire recovery time before I had my doctor's visit, I was bleeding. It did go away, almost went away, and then it came back. I remember that. So I could very well continue to bleed. I know a lot of people stop like almost right away, but I think I just bleed for a long time. But I mean, everything's safe and I'm good. I think that's about it. Right now, I plan on doing a postpartum update for weeks 3 and 4, and I will continue to do like month 2, month 3, month 4. I'm gonna put the little guy down and I'm gonna show you my belly, my postpartum belly. 'Cause who doesn't wanna see that? Yeah. So I am still wearing my maternity pants. I will wear these for as long as it is acceptable because they are so much more comfortable. You can hear Tucker in the background grunting. I like to wear a nursing tank underneath a shirt, and then I can just lift, flap down, and nurse. Where is it? Lift, stick the flap down, here it is. That's my bra. Stick the flap down, nurse, and then stick it back up. So this is the front. The side, this is 2 weeks postpartum. The other side, and I will show you. So there is my belly. You can see the line. I don't know if you can see it right there. It was so faint on my belly, but you can definitely see it. So this is postpartum 2 weeks. Definitely got the mommy tummy there, but I feel pretty good actually for just being 2 weeks out. There it is. Please leave down below if you have any questions at all concerning postpartum care. I'm going to be putting together a postpartum care kit video so that you can see what I put in my postpartum care kit and the things that I leave in my bathroom and the things that I leave at my nightstand, that kind of thing. So if you have any questions about that, please leave them in the comments down below and let me know how you are doing. So many of you are nearing the end of your pregnancies, you're about to have that baby, and some of you have had the baby, so let me know what your postpartum care tips are. I will talk to you soon. I love you so much. Mwah.